You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 59. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Today's guest, he is the founder and owner of Gumptown Magazine. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure you all will be inspired by his story. Let's chop it up with Jamal Thomas. Jamal, how's it going, man?
It's going great.
Glad to hear that, man. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me a few minutes. I really appreciate it.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. Of course, we're here to talk about Gumptown Magazine, but before we go there, let's get to know the man behind the brand. What's your story?
Well, my name is Jamal Thomas. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Um, I moved to Montgomery in 2002 to attend Alabama State University, the Alabama State University. I got an academic full ride, and I also got a band scholarship. And I'm a first generation college student, so my whole family was encouraging me, like, hey, go, get out of Cleveland, go to school, and go. So I came down to Alabama State. My major was marketing, and I fell in love with the South. I mean, the hospitality, the food, the weather. It was no snow, and plus my roots trace back down to Alabama. My great grandmother was born in Leaderhatchee, in Lowndes County. So shout out to the 4-5. And I graduated Alabama State in '07. And then when I went on to pursue my master's I got my master's in '09 from South University. And, I worked various jobs, customer service jobs, call center jobs, restaurant jobs, serving and waiting tables and whatnot. And then I got my first job in my field. I worked for a magazine called Montgomery Spotlight magazine. It was an African American publication that launched in 2009. I stayed there for about a year, and that's when I learned a lot about Montgomery. I learned more about small businesses, more about Black businesses, and was learning how to network, and I got my feet wet. I stayed there for about a year, and I'm like, let me do something different. So I worked in radio, and it was a small station in Wetumpka, Alabama, WAPZ 1250. They play solid gold soul music, so I sold radio advertisements. So I'll be selling radio advertisements in the day and then serve tables at Winsel's at night. So I was there for maybe about 5 months. And then the station switched format, so I started to lose all my customers. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be content, serving tables. But I'm like, God, I just need to do something. I just need to do something. I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna be content. And then in 2011, in April, I was sitting in my room and just hit me like a light bulb, Gumptown Magazine, and I just started writing. Because, at the time there were like no magazines focused on the Black community, no publications promoting and supporting Black businesses. Because I'm like, I'm from Cleveland, we got Black newspapers, Black magazines, the Chinese community has publications, the Jewish community has publications, the Italian community has publications. So I saw a niche, and that's one thing about marketing. You see a niche and you go for it and you fill that void. And so I launched my first issue in August of 2011, and 11 years later, I'm here. My first issue only had like 10 pages. Now we're up to 56 pages, and Gumptown has grown. We became like a staple of the community, and I'm all about the community, and I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy to see Gumptown still thriving and striving.
Yes, sir. What a great story, man. So let's go back to your roots in Cleveland. And just when you came down to Montgomery in '02, what was some cultural differences you noticed right away aside from the southern hospitality, of course, but
Oh my God, coming down here was like a blast from the past because I remember, looking at all the information you get from Alabama State. It was like, we're uh we're 5 minutes from downtown. So I'm thinking like, okay, I can go downtown, go shopping, go to the movies, find me a job, catch the bus where I need to go. Man, I came down here. It wasn't none downtown. You won't hardly no bus lines running because back at home you can catch the bus anywhere. A lot of our buses run 24/7. It's easy to get around without a car. It's easy to maneuver. It's more of a fast pace. The city like fast pace, fast pace. I'm like everything shut down early. All the local restaurants and the black restaurants close at like 5 or 6. I'm like back at home. If I want to get me like a real plate or a chicken plate, I can get it at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was like a culture shock, and this a crazy story too. When the hotel we stayed in, it was a Holiday Inn. It was off the Eastern Boulevard by Exit 6, by the interstate, right across from the Sam's, and there was a Waffle House at the bottom of it.
I remember
And so,
that.
and so of course, every time you go to a new city, you want to know where the mall at. So the hotel attendant, she was like, "We got two malls," and she pointed to the right. She said, "The white mall right down there, but if you want to go to the black mall," she pointed to the left. You go way, way down to keep on driving. I learned she was talking about Eastdale Mall and Montgomery Mall, but when she said that, the black mall and the white mall, my parents and my uncle then was like, "You sure you want to go to school down here?"
Hey,
So
well, she
yeah,
kept it real.
kept it real. So that was one of another difference too, because Cleveland is more progressive. We're more economically progressive, more socially progressive. You know, just what 2 or 3 years ago, Montgomery elected his first black mayor. When I was young, the first mayor I remember having was black.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And racism and prejudice, it still exists, but like down here, it was really, really different,
Mhm.
really different. But I made it through. I made it through. So it's just, the fast pace and the slow pace, is real slow down here. And back at home, back in Cleveland, people were risk takers, people were hustlers, we ain't wait for no money. We made money, we knew how to make a dollar out of 15 cents, and coming to Montgomery, it was like very cliquish. It's
Mhm.
like you had to make your way in a circle or wait for a long time to be part of a circle, people didn't do business with you because they didn't know who you was or things like that. Back at home, if you about making money, hey, we gonna make this money.
Now, much respect, and I trust me, I definitely can attest to that. Like, there's one thing I do respect about the Midwest, Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit, all of you all. Y'all are definitely natural born hustlers. Y'all come down here and y'all like, man, it's so slow. So everything you saying, man, it coincides with everything I've always heard from Midwesterners when they move down here.
It's so easy to get on your feet down here too. The cost of living is much cheaper, and so I think like I think about this all the time. Like, how can people down here be struggling? What are y'all doing down here? It's just so easy just to do something. Why are y'all struggling?
Right. Nah, hey, can't argue with you there, man. I've been here my whole life and I can definitely agree with you. Like in terms of when it comes to getting things started, a lot of people they're real slow to get started. And like you said, we don't take a lot of risks down here, man. It's just real slow and yeah, you're right. Cost of living is compared to what you all deal with in the Midwest, it's fairly cheap down here, man. So nah, that's a great story, man. The black mall and the white mall, man. That's dope. So let's talk
Yeah,
about yes, sir. So let's talk about your HBCU experience. You attended the Alabama State University. What was that like for you?
man, it was one of the best moments, the best years of my life. I met people from all over the country. I'm talking about I done met people from all throughout Alabama, Chicago, Detroit, New York, California, Tennessee, Jersey, just all over. And one thing I liked about it too is like I learned more about myself. I learned about my culture and my history and my heritage, and I embraced it. You know what I'm saying? Because learning that Alabama State was founded by ex-slaves. They had a dream, they had a vision, and for me, going there and graduated from there, I'm their dream come true. You know, and with my teachers and my professors, they ensured that was successful. We didn't just learn what was in the textbooks and stuff. They taught us about some of their experiences. Um, you know, a lot of my professors and everything, they shared their experiences, participating in like the Montgomery bus boycott, participating in going through corporate America, knowing how it was being a black person in, oh, I don't want to say a white man's world, but that's how it was at the time. So just learning those life experiences and then learning like, I have value. I don't care how people look at me or how people judge me. I know I got value and I mean something and I'm necessary. I'm essential. I'm important. It taught me how to value myself and to give me that self-respect and self-worth.
Yes, sir. Speaking of valuing yourself and self respect, you came out of the BA when Percy Vaughn was still there, and that's one thing he was big on. He was on our head about that, about
Oh yeah.
dressing properly, pull your pants up. Like Percy Vaughn, like he was. A lot of people probably thought he was a jerk, but he was trying to instill that in us even back then. So I know you all about. I know you know all about that Percy Vaughn era.
Oh yes. I was the last of the realists. I was the last of the Mohicans. Because before I graduated, like my my last year, it took me 5 years. I took my time. I had a social life. I was just taking 14 hours each semester, 4 classes. But anyway, I was the last of the Mohicans. So my last semesters in college, he had just retired. So I never experienced him as a teacher, but I experienced him as a dean, and he did not play in that BA.
No, he didn't. I graduated in 2010 and he was retiring like right when I got into BA. So around '07, like you said to your point. Yeah, I didn't have him as a teacher, but just his presence, you just knew he valued us and he wanted us to walk a certain way and move a certain way. That's why he didn't play the radio with us. So that's
Sure.
great, man. Yeah, hey, that BA man, legends come out that BA, man. You know all about it.
Oh yeah, NBA don't play, man. I remember being in there to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning on a regular.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir. If you know, you know.
that's right, that's right.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about Gumptown Magazine. So what all do you cover in the magazine? Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, Gumptown, we're a local business directory. We help promote local and black businesses in the river region area, and we take a grassroots approach to cover community news. So because there's so many resources that the black community and the urban community just don't know about, and these resources can help us give us a better quality of life. So what Gumptown does is bridge that gap between the community and resources and community and black businesses. So we just that bridging that gap and connecting people to the resources that they need. So in Gumptown, you can find different black businesses, other small businesses. You can find interviews of different people, movers and shakers who are doing great things in the community. Because most times, in most media outlets, when you see people who look like you and me, it's always in a negative aspect.
Mhm.
So we try to highlight people who are doing things positive and trying to give people flowers while they yet live.
Mm. Love it, man. And I've had a chance to check out some of the online articles and very professional, man. You're doing some dope stuff over there with the magazine, and it's good. Yes, sir. It's good that you are highlighting that because, like you said, to your point, people who look like you and I, man. Most of the time, we're in the news for you know bad stuff, man. But there's a lot of greatness within the city and good
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are doing a lot of great things, and in addition to our magazine, it's print. We come out quarterly. We also have our website, www.gumptownmag.com. And we keep that updated with different articles, and you can also read the magazine online too. But what's really popping about Gumptown is our Facebook and our Instagram. I mean, we have a slogan: "We be everywhere," because literally we be everywhere. Anything that's going on in the city, you can find us. Whether it's a city council meeting, a school board meeting, a football game, a Chamber of Commerce meeting, a Leadership Montgomery meeting, political debates, a fish fry, whatever. We are there. We're everywhere.
I love it, man. I love it. So whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, I like to cover three things: the aha moment, action, and audacity. You've already covered your aha moment, April of 2011, so when you first had the idea to launch the magazine. August 2011 when you launched the magazine. So that was a 2 month time frame between idea and action. That's very commendable, man. A lot of people in that period of time of getting the idea get hung up on ideas, paralysis of analysis, and don't take action. So that leads to my last portion, audacity. It takes audacity to step out there and get started, especially a magazine, especially being the first to do it. Who or what gave you that courage, that audacity to step out there?
It was just something in me. It was just like I just, you can't explain it. It's just like something in you just that won't let you stop and won't let you quit because where the magazine is now, that's where I visioned it when I first had the vision. I'm like, we need a media outlet because I think big. I'm like, I know we got other magazines, other publications, but I'm thinking big. Like my competition is like Radio One, TV One, the Washington Post, MSNBC. I'm trying to be big as them. I'm trying to be the number one media outlet. If you want to know what's going on in Montgomery, you coming through me. You're not coming through WSFA. You're not coming through the Montgomery Advertiser. You're not coming through iHeart, where it used to be Clear Channel. You're not coming through. You coming through Gumptown. And so just knowing who I am and what I stand for, because at first, it was kind of rough. So I'm gonna say about like maybe maybe about like my probably about my seventh or eighth year in business, I was like, you know what? This is me. And I don't care what nobody gonna say because I'm unstoppable and I'm not going nowhere. Yeah. So
Much respect, man. So you gave yourself the audacity. I love to hear it, man. Just knowing who you are.
mhm. And learning how to be humble because a lot of people, I know a lot of business owners once they make it to a certain point, longevity or a certain level, they forget where they come from and they forget who they are, and they make their business about them instead of about the people. So I try to sustain and retain all of my humility because if it weren't for other businesses, if it weren't for the community support, I wouldn't be here today. So
Man, that's so key. You said that, and that's man, that's so dope. Like just maintaining that humility and just realizing, hey, the people is who got you to this point. So you can never forget the people. Not saying you owe anybody anything, but to be a jerk, that ain't cool, man. So much respect to you.
it ain't cool. It ain't cool because it's not about me. Like it went until like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I just started putting my picture inside the magazine because I'm like, it ain't about me. Don't nobody need to know who I am. They just need to know what Gumptown is. That's it.
Yes, sir. Nah, man, much respect, man. So the magazine has done great things, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What are your short term and long term goals for the magazine?
One of my short term goals is to like actually because I addition to the magazine, I saw marketing was a need. So I also do contract marketing work, whether it's PR, social media management, um distribution, brand management, the whole nine. I do that too. So one of my short term goals is to like actually like create a separate entity for all of my marketing and branding services so I can have something separate for Gumptown. And then and so that way I can compete um or I can get money from my competitors to like for instance like right now Gumptown, my competitors are like radio and TV, digital marketing companies like that. But as a PR firm or a marketing firm, I can come to the news station and say, "Hey, I got this client who want to do some advertising on your station that I can get my cut."
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so that's a short term goal. One of my long term goals, um, I want Gumptown to be a regional directory, covering the whole southeast because down south, there's a lot of small cities. There's a lot of, small communities, like for instance, I've been to like Lowndes County, I've been to like Perry County, Union Springs, Tuskegee, and they're still, they still read newspapers and things like that. But you'll be surprised, like you on the front page of those newspapers, they still got black people going to jail. The only thing positive they have about black people in those publications is if somebody turns 100 years old, or if somebody celebrates like a 70th or 80th wedding anniversary or something like that. So Gumptown is needed in all those communities. So I just want to expand Gumptown to cover this whole southeast. But one of my ultimate goals is I want to be the first black press secretary of the White House.
Nice, man. And those are some great short term and long term goals. I definitely have no doubt that you'll make those goals come to fruition. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yes, sir. So as we come to the conclusion of the podcast, I want to ask $1 million question. I started this podcast because I wanted to highlight the greatness of Montgomery, whether you were born here or lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college or military. You've been here since '02 for college. So I want to ask you, man, what do you appreciate the most about the Gump?
Man, I just appreciate the history of the Gump. I appreciate the future of the Gump. I appreciate the potential, man, because Montgomery was so pivotal in our nation's history. A lot of stuff started here from from the Confederacy to civil rights, the whole nine, and now we got the opportunity to be the birthplace of diversity. So I just appreciate Montgomery for its foundation, a foundation to the society, foundation to America, and just the great influence it had on this country. Because Montgomery, without Montgomery, America wouldn't be what it is today. I mean, even the birthplace of aviation with the Air Force Base, everything. Montgomery is the first. And you see, Gumptown is in Montgomery, and Gumptown is the first. And the Gumptown podcast is the first, too. So we just first.
Yes, sir. That's some powerful stuff, man. How can the people connect with you, Jamal? What are your social media handles and website?
Okay, our website is www.gumptownmag.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Gumptown Magazine, and on Instagram, we're Gumptown_MAG. And then you can also reach us via email, gumptownmagazine@gmail.com, and our number is 334-301-7371.
Yes, sir. And of course, I'll put all of the information in the description of the episode. Hey, Jamal, thanks again for this conversation, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Doug, and I commend you on what you're doing, and keep on doing what you're doing, and don't stop.
Likewise, man. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. We gone, but before we leave, remember, be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.